Well, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to answer more and more questions about some audio things. I've talked about it before, but evidently somebody didn't listen or whatever. Anyway, this whole thing of putting a mixer in front of your transmitter is cool if you have certain things happening. You just can't do it to everything. You're going to end up with RFI all over the place. And in most of the transceivers now today, they all have equalization in them. So you don't have to do that. Everybody gets all shook up that, wow, I need a mixer in front of my no, you don't. I can't name you. I cannot name you a transmitter today that doesn't have equalization in it. They all do, the new ones that are on the market. And you need to pay attention to that. You get the decent microphone, not the stock thing, because they're not stock. The manufacturers don't know what in the world's going on. They buy some cheap little thing, paint it the same color, and fool us. No. Decent microphone. Oh, I forgot one thing. They put their name on it, so you think it's matching. No, it's not. And it's really sad because they don't really do you a favor, and it's a misjustice. But anyway, you get a decent microphone, and you get into some of the equalization of these radios, and it's amazing. You get into like the flex. My gosh, you got so much EQ in one of the SDRs. You get to 7300. Just everything today has equalization in it. So forget it for transmitting. However, you want to seriously look at it for receiving. But when you're choosing a mixer, it is very, very important what you get. And we're going to go through that real quickly. First of all, here's how you do it. And I mean, this is really simple stuff. Yes, you're going to have to solder, but ICOM, thank goodness, has made it real easy for us. And some of the others are going to follow suit, where they've made a cable to fit into the DIN plug. And that cable then can connect the audio out, data audio out. They can take that into a mixer. Here, we're showing the microphone into it, into the data in. Well, you don't want to do that. That's what you don't want to do. What you want to do is take the data out. And when you take that out, and we've talked about this on the show a lot, when you take that audio out of the transceiver, of course, the receiver side of it, here's what you're going to end up doing. This is really cool stuff. You come out and go to the line in. What's a line in? There's a microphone in and a line in. What's the difference? A microphone in has a preamp for low gain microphones. Microphones are very low gain. And they have a preamp. Well, you can't do that. You're driving maybe a volt into that mixer. So you want to take the line input. That's line level is what that means. Line level's about 1 volt. That's what's coming out of your transceiver or your receiver side. You go into line in, you come out, and you go into one of these powered JBL speakers. And it works so well. I use the Control 2P. There's nothing like it. It's an amazing product. And I bought this last one for $90 on eBay. So look around. You can get, they come in a pair. They have two 35-watt amps. But you need a powered speaker. And the JBL is very RFI proof. I've never heard or had anybody tell me about RFI. If you do, you got a serious problem. But anyway, that's how you do that. You come out of the receiver, audio out, line level, into a mixer. And then here this is a mono signal. And I take the pan pot and took it all the way to the left. So that takes all that one mono signal and puts it back out into the left output, because we're not stereo, so we don't need the right side. And you take that left out into your JBL, and you're going to hear things you've never heard before. You're going to love it, because now you have the ability to equalize it. Now, that's what we want to talk about. Let me set this little guy over here for you.
Yeah, Bob, let's talk. I want you to talk equalization, because Amanda told me that per chat room request, they want to know exactly what equalization is. So I think we're fixing to find out. And something else about EQ, even these little guys have transmit and receive EQ in them. It's amazing what these radios are doing these days.
They do, and that's what we're going to talk about, because everybody gets real confused, and you don't want to be confused. But here is the deal. This is so important. You go buy a little mixer, and it has 2-band EQ, bass and treble, right? Bass and treble. Aha. Look where that filter is. Look. And you see it? The high Z? It's 12,000 cycles. Do you think anybody in amateur radio is listening to 12,000 cycles? You better not be. Well, this is not going to do you any good to have a treble up at 12,000 cycles. And the bass is at 80. The bass is okay, but this is not going to work for you. So what you need to do is find a mixer with 3-band EQ in it at least. Now we're on the Elises. They've got the last 2 channels only have 2-band EQ. But looky here. We have 3-band EQ. Look where the mids are. They're 2.5K. That's exactly where you need it. That's where the articulation happens. So now you have bass at 80, 2.5, and 12. Man, you're not going to use that much, so forget that. But, boy, you got plus 15 or minus 15. You can notch that, or you can increase it by 12 dB, some of it 15 dB. It depends on the mixer. So now you have some equalization that you can play with, and it's really cool. And get rid of a lot of noise. You get all these guys that they get this big bass, you know, they got all of this big low end, and oh boy, aren't I cool because I have all this big condenser low end, ain't I cool? Yeah, you're I can't understand what the heck you're saying, but isn't it cool? No, it's not cool. What is cool is to have a very articulate signal, and if they're not giving it to you, you can make it. You just roll off all the low end and punch up the mid-range, and you'll get rid of their tubbiness. You can do a world of things with equalization, and that's what it's about. Equalization are filters. And here's the next thing. This is really going to help you. We did this a few weeks ago, but maybe everybody didn't catch it. Equalizers, what do they do for you? They are filters. And these filters allow you to either increase by 15 dB at 80 hertz, where that filter's set. You didn't set it. You can't set it. It's set by the engineer. Or you can notch it. If they've got too much bass, you don't like a guy you're talking to, got too much bass, notch him out of there. Get rid of it. But you see, the 10 and 12K stuff doesn't work for us because we're rolling off at 3K. Here's your transmitter bandwidth. Forget it. So what do? You look for equalizers that have different bands. Here's a 3-band EQ with what we call parametric. That's what's in the Elises. We're going to come back to that. But look, that mid filter, you can be the engineer. You can move it from about, somewhere down around 500-600 cycles. You can move that filter all the way up to about 4K. You can move the filter. Then you can increase it or you can decrease it. But you are the engineer. I can do just a little here with the with what you're hearing through the microphone. There it is with a lot of mid-range, but I can move it high mid-range, or I can have a lower mid-range. There's almost nothing there because I've really plussed it out at about 600 cycles. But we need to get it back up. Listen to what happens to the magic spot. The magic spot is 2.5K. And what you want to do is listen. You are the engineer, and you are the one that has to make that decision of where you want that to be. Let's put that back to 2.5K. Now, I want to bring the Elisa's back. The Elisa's is a wonderful piece. The reason it is so great, and all of us here on Ham Nation, all the hosts, most of us are using the Elisa's. What's really neat about it is you saw where it has 2-band EQ, but it has 3-band EQ, and they're up at 12K, somewhere around 2K, and 80 hertz. But look at this one. This has a sweepable or a parametric mid. The low-end equalizer filter is set at 80 hertz. That filter, and you can plus that or you can minus that. We can bring up the low end or we can take off the low end. But we can do this to the receiver. That's what's so cool about it. There's signals that you hear when you hook it out of the output of the receiver to the input to the mixer. But the mid-range is parametric. You can control that, and you can control this from about, it goes down. Let's see, I can't see exactly. I think it starts out at about 120 cycles, and you can rotate that up through 600, 800, 2.5K, all the way up, and the top end is at 4 or 5K. And you are the engineer. You can set that filter. It's not preset like this one is. It's variable. That is really cool. So if you really want to go out and find a mixer that'll play for you, for receiving, you want to find one that has a sweepable mid that you can change that frequency. But equalization is done because of our ears. We don't all hear flat. We don't all hear really, really good. In fact, some frequencies are really bad, and we have to have equalization. And I have a lot of guys, I don't need no darn EQ. Well, let me tell you a little secret. Everything you own that has any audio in it is equalized. Your car radio, your telephone, your mini disc player, your CD player, your ham radio receiver, even if it doesn't have, but they all do today. There has to be a set equalization that the engineers has preset for you because of the deficiency of the human hearing apparatus called ears. Now, if you have variable things, that's great. Variable frequency filters, you can tailor it even more. But that's just a short synopsis of this whole equalization thing. And I do it because a lot of you are very, very disturbed. You'll go out and buy a cheap little mixer and it's got 2-band EQ. And what's the 2 bands? 12K and 80 hertz. It's not going to do you any good. The 80 hertz will, but you need something that really plays at 2.5K. And the best is to look at some of the mixers that have variable. That's hard to find, but Elisa's does have it. But there are others out there, and they aren't that expensive. So I hope this helps. I appreciate all the letters and even phone calls, and I talk to you some on the air. If it doesn't help, we'll do more. I hate to keep beating it up because it's not a dead horse. It's a very important one. And you need to be paying attention as to how you can make your receiver even better by getting rid of the speakers, and that's another subject. But when you do this, you'll get rid of those amplifiers and all the cheap little speakers and get yourself some really high quality stuff for not much more than you paid for your matching speaker.